Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at Jupiter in your natal chart. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion, opportunity, growth, luck, okay, optimism, all things with expanding. So expanding your mind. It is ruled by the sign of Sagittarius and the ninth house. You'll notice a lot of the time people who are either ruled by Jupiter or have a lot of Sagittarius energy or have a lot of ninth house energy in their natal chart, they're very, very lucky, okay? So they can sometimes fall into the shadow of doing things and getting away with them all the time. So it could be extreme things. They can fall into an overindulgence energy of that where it's like they know they're gonna get away with it because Jupiter is always on their side. They're very, very lucky people, okay? They're very, very much optimistic. So depending on where you have Jupiter in your natal chart, this is the area that you're going to be expanding. Another thing, all of the planets have a sister planet that they work together with, okay? So we have the sun and the moon work together, we have Mars and Venus, and then we also have Jupiter and Saturn. So what does all of this mean? Saturn basically is going to restrict you, okay? It's the limitations in life, and then Jupiter is going to expand you, okay? So wherever you have Jupiter in your natal chart, this is where you are expanding. People usually get really excited when we talk about Jupiter because Jupiter can also indicate your abundance, how you can make money as well. Jupiter is all about freedom, okay? That's the Sagittarius energy. They want to be free. They do not want to be restricted. A lot of the time, again, depending on where you have Sagittarius or Jupiter or ninth house energy in your chart, this is the area not only where you're expanding, but you're searching for freedom through that particular area, okay? So for example, for some people, let's say they have the moon in Sag, these are known to be the bachelors of the Zodiac, because of the fact that, again, they want to be free on an emotional level. A lot of the time, Jupiter is going to leave situations that don't allow them to expand, okay? That's a huge thing to understand with this planet. Also, it deals with foreign countries, foreign languages. So it's all about soul searching, discovering who you truly are, going abroad, meeting new people, maybe learning new languages. What I always say about Jupiter, Sagittarius, or ninth house, really what these people do is they go off, learn, they create some sort of new philosophy in life, and they come back, teach. A shadow trait though, because every single sign does have their own shadow trait, is the Sagittarius energy, Jupiter, ninth house, can become very dogmatic, okay? They could even fall into the extreme of having just very rigid belief systems where it's like they're preaching to other people because they believe it so deeply. They want everyone else to believe it, okay? That's kind of like the energy because it's like they've gone off and learned something and it's like for them, it resonates in their soul because they resonate with it so deeply. They think it's like the best thing ever. And then they want to go off and teach people that. Another thing also, what I usually say with Sag energy is that a lot of the time they might be scattered, especially early on in life where they don't know what it is that they want to do. But when Sag picks one thing, they become very good at it. They excel at it, okay? Jupiter and Sagittarius and ninth house can also deal with entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship is highly tied to freedom, okay? Not being tied down to a job, not being tied down to a certain place, not being tied down to a boss, okay? So these people are always, always, always going to be aligning themselves with freedom. Another thing with Sagittarius and Jupiter and the ninth house is that all of the fire signs, so all of the fire signs I personally find are very good at entrepreneurship. It's just different types of entrepreneurship that they might jump into, okay? They always want to be seen and they're always aligning themselves with the father, okay? So it's a huge thing to understand. They're always subconsciously trying to impress the father, all of the fire signs. And this is because of the fact that they're always aligning themselves with the masculine energy. So it doesn't matter whether you are male or female. If you have a lot of Sag energy in your chart, or if you're ruled by Jupiter, or if you have a lot of ninth house energy in your chart, you're always going to align yourself with the masculine energy, okay? And subconsciously want to make the father proud. It's not that they're non-committal, okay? Jupiter, Sag, ninth house. It's not this, it's just they're aligning themselves with freedom. They're always going to be committed to freedom. So they're probably not going to be in one place. They could be very nomadic. They could move around. They could have a lot of different partners. It's like whoever allows them to be free. Although maybe they can settle down with one partner if that person allows them to be free. This is the whole name of the game with the Sagittarius energy. It's about expansion. It's about freedom. It's about moving around. It's about learning. It's about teaching. It's about experiencing different cultures, different people. Like I said, if they can align themselves with entrepreneurship because that's connected to freedom, okay? So this is the whole thing to understand with Jupiter and Sagittarius and ninth house, all of these, okay? So let's go through each of the houses and what this means. So if you have Jupiter in the first house, Your Jupiter is conjuncting your ascendant, okay? So for you, your identity is what's being expanded, okay? So you can be someone who has a really big personality, okay? Because it's all about big. A lot of the time when we have planets in the first house, it's going to give you the undertone of having that rising, okay? So Jupiter in the first house gives you the undertone of having a Sagittarius rising. Always aligning yourself with freedom, all about your identity. So your identity is very much all these things that we've mentioned earlier in the video. Freedom, expansion, wanting to move around, wanting to go off learn, maybe wanting to learn different languages. It's important to understand that it gives you the undertone, okay, of having a Sag rising. It's not like it gives you a Sag rising, it's just the undertone. So you're basically taking on these characteristics, okay? So the self is what's being expanded. Next, we have Jupiter in the second house. People love this placement because for you, your personal finances, your money are going to be expanded, okay? You're going to be lucky when it comes to money. You could also be someone who maybe goes and wins the lottery, like these types of things. You're going to be lucky when it comes to career and business ventures, okay? Let's say there's something you are building, because Taurus is the builder, okay? That's the second house. So whatever you are building in your life, okay, your empire, your legacy, your way, shape, or form you want to look at it, you're going to be expanding in this area. This is where you're going to have opportunities. This is a wealth placement. This is why a lot of people are happy when they have this placement. Then we have Jupiter in the third house. The third house deals with all things communication, written or spoken word. It can also deal with siblings. You have Jupiter in the third house, you're expanding in this area, okay? So you might be interested in writing. You might be interested in speaking. You need to communicate. Social media, okay? So social media could be a huge thing for you. You could be interested in PR. You could be interested in marketing. It's also all about connections for you, okay? So a lot of your opportunities you're going to receive through other people. Jupiter in the fourth house. This is all to do with your home, okay? It also deals with real estate. So when you have Jupiter in the fourth house, you might have a big home, or you might have several real estate properties. It deals with real estate and property. So whether you are expanding your own personal home, it's a big space, okay, a big house, maybe you have a pool or whatever it is, or you're expanding maybe a real estate business. It depends on the rest of your chart, right? You're going to be very much in real estate yourself, like working in real estate where you have a lot of properties. This is what Jupiter in the fourth house could symbolize. Also, because it deals with the mother, it could go two ways. It could be a mother that was very much expansive for you, okay? So allows you to be free, allows you to discover who you are, or the opposite of that, where it's like she was very much smothering in the sense where she restricted your freedom, okay? So it can go two ways, always with each of the signs. Then we have Jupiter in the fifth house. This is an interesting placement to have because the fifth house deals with your creativity. It can deal with your love and relationships. It can also deal with children. A lot of the time people might say that if you have Jupiter in the fifth house, you might not have children. But for whatever reason, I feel like it can go two ways. Either you might not have children because you want the freedom, you don't want to be restricted, right? Or it can go in the other way where it's like you might have a lot of children, right? Because it deals with the inner child. It really depends on you as a person. I personally find that it can always go two ways. So again, you guys can take what resonates. You're going to be expanded within creativity. The fifth house deals with the sign of Leo, okay? So it's all Leo-like things. Leos are also very good leaders, okay, so they could also be interested in entrepreneurship. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, all of the fire signs could have an interest in entrepreneurship for different reasons. Leos are very creative. Creativity isn't just going off and drawing, drawing and painting. Creativity is getting maybe that new business idea, right? It depends on the rest of your chart. But you're going to be expanding in this area, which is the area of creativity, okay? So endless creativity, endless ideas, and it's the inner child or children, okay? So you can take it more so as a metaphor where it's like, maybe you're just expanding through your inner child, or you're connected to your inner child, because creativity and inner child are very much connected, important to understand. Then we have Jupiter in the sixth house, okay? So Jupiter in the sixth house, health, healing, service. It can also be the everyday people, your colleagues. So you could be someone who's interested in health, okay, and healing. This can go on a different range. It depends on the rest of your natal chart. Maybe it's going to be traditional health and healing where you become a doctor or a nurse, or you can go more so in a non-traditional route where maybe you're going to be interested in things like Reiki or energy healing. You're going to be interested in making meal plans for people, these types of things, because the sixth house can also deal with your own personal health. You could be someone who maybe picks a diet, okay, and you really like that diet, and maybe you go off and make meal plans for other people. Let's say you're a personal trainer or whatever it is, right? The thing is, because it also deals with health and it can also deal with your own personal health, it can also go two ways where it's like maybe you're lucky in circumstances when it comes to your health, okay? So again, Sagittarius gets away with things. This is important to understand. So it's like maybe you're going to be someone who eats a lot of junk and you just happen to be healthy, right? Because again, it's expanding this. Or it can go in the opposite direction where maybe you have some sort of health situation, but again, you get out of that, okay? You get out of that situation. Maybe this then in turn inspires you to go help and heal other people because of whatever your story is, right? Maybe you discovered a special diet and this again expanded. Okay, it expanded you, it expanded your knowledge, it expanded your growth, and then you go off and teach other people about this. Jupiter in the 7th house. This is your love and relationship. So Jupiter in the 7th house, a lot of the time you're going to bring and activate abundance through another partner. You could also be lucky when it comes to relationships, okay? You could just somehow always stumble upon good partners or partners who are going to expand you, okay? Partners who are going to help you grow, partners who are going to teach you something, these types of things. Also, it can deal with friendships and business partnerships. So same thing, maybe you're going to be lucky in the realm of business where you happen to have a really great business partner. So again, you're expanding the 7th house. These people who have Jupiter in the 7th house need to be in some form of unit, okay, to feel abundant, okay? So as soon as you get in a relationship, you might see that things start working out for you, okay? Maybe you get that new job, these types of things. Maybe your business takes off, whatever it is, right? So these people need to be in a unit, okay? So as soon as they're in a unit, business partnership, friendship, romantic relationship, all these types of things, you're now going to be expanding abundance for yourself. Then we have Jupiter in the 8th house. So this deals with other people's assets and finances. This is the placement of inheritance or finances activated through a spouse, okay? It's important to understand that the 8th house deals with merging of energies, okay? So because you're merging energies, maybe when you get married to someone, or maybe you just get into a long-term commitment with a person, this is when you activate that Jupiter energy. And again, the 2nd house and the 8th house are the money access, okay? So 2nd house is your money, 8th house are other people's assets and finances. So you could have an inheritance, as I mentioned, or you could just activate this through a spouse, okay? This is really the 8th house. Also, maybe if you're interested in all things Scorpionic, because that's what the 8th house deals with, so sex, death, rebirth, joint finances, taxes, the occult, maybe you're transforming other people's money, okay? So maybe you're a financial advisor, anything to do with transformation, okay? Transformation, maybe you're interested in astrology, all these things are going to activate abundance for you. This is the area where you're expanding. Next, we have Jupiter in the 9th house. So it's in its home here, okay? So you can look at it as double of the Jupiter energy. Jupiter in the 9th house can be very lucky abroad, okay? So you might travel for work, or you might, get some sort of job that's international, or when you're abroad, you might meet people or connections or whatever it is when you're in a foreign place, okay? Foreign country, foreign lands. You might move around a lot for work, okay, with Jupiter in the 9th house. And another thing that's really important to understand with Jupiter in the 9th is that this deals with the higher mind, okay? So again, Sagittarius energy is the higher mind. So you could be interested in teaching spirituality, again, teaching belief systems, things that you've learned, whether it's spiritual topics or whether it's just some sort of belief system that you created for yourself. You might be interested in teaching other people this. So again, Sagittarius learns, they go off, learn, come back, teach. So when you have Jupiter in the 9th house, this is really what's going on here, okay? So you're teaching something, and a lot of the time it could be some sort of belief system that you've created for yourself based on your experiences. Jupiter in the 10th house, so this is conjuncting your midheaven. So you're basically going to be expanding your career, okay? Your public image, your public life, working with the public, your public status, okay? So this is the area where you are expanding. You could be very much lucky when it comes to jobs and careers, okay? So maybe you could just somehow, stumble into a job or just receive it, or somehow through your connections or people, right? Because it's like all about the authoritative energies, Capricorn, right? So maybe you're very well connected, or somehow your family is, or whoever it is, right? You are lucky when it comes to jobs, when it comes to your career, when it comes to all these things that are 10th house energy, right? So this is the area where you're expanding. You're expanding when it comes to your career. You're probably going to be very hardworking in this area. And again, it can also expand your status, right? It can expand your public image. So you could be someone who's interested in working with the public with Jupiter in the 10th house. Then we have Jupiter in the 11th house. This is an interesting one because this deals with large groups of people. So you can have a lot of friends. You could also get a lot of opportunities through these large groups of people, but also Jupiter in the 11th house, because the 11th house can deal with the internet. This could be an area where you create an online business of some sort. Jupiter in the 11th is another wealth indicator in a natal chart, okay? So when you have this in your natal chart, you could be someone who creates a large social media following, okay? So it basically deals with, again, large groups of people, but you're bringing them to you. It can be an online business of some sort, a social media platform of some sort, so you can really, really make money online if you have this placement. Finally, we have Jupiter in the 12th house. This is going to be your Piscean energy, okay? So this is all about your dreams, your visions, the psychic gifts and abilities, the spirituality, the other realms, okay? The thing is, when you have Jupiter in the 12th, I'm going to say two things. One thing, you're going to be really good at manifesting because it's that Piscean energy in there, okay? So whatever your visions are, whatever your dreams are, you're going to be really good at expanding that, okay? Creating it into your reality, because when you envision it in your mind, it feels so real to you. But also another thing with Jupiter in the 12th house is going to be a lot of karma, okay? That you're clearing when it comes to expanding, okay? So there's gonna be a lot of past life things. Maybe there's going to be a lot of past life things around your abundance. I'm going to say that this is a karmic placement, okay? So it's fated, it's connected to your past life, okay? okay? Past life karma of some sort. You came through to expand. You came through to clear out, okay? Whenever we have 12th house anywhere, that's how we want to look at the 12th house, okay? You're clearing, you're expanding this area, okay? So you can clear it out so you don't have to come back and do it again, okay? So that's really the thing. And then again, because Jupiter deals with all things freedom, expansion, it can also deal with your abundance. This is the karma that you're clearing. It's a highly karmic placement, okay? So it's kind of like, almost like you have no choice. It's really what that is. It's like, it's fated, okay, when we look at this, because it's like you're tied. You've come into this lifetime with some sort of purpose, okay, to clear. That's really what the 12th house is. Also, you could be interested in healing of some sort, okay, because this is the axis. 12th house, 6th house is the health and healing axis. So this could, again, manifest so many different ways. It could either be the traditional way or a non-traditional way, or it can just be through your existence, right? Sometimes people are just healing by being themselves. So that's really important to understand as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video on Jupiter, okay, what it means, and Jupiter through the houses. If you guys did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You guys can let me know in the comments below as well. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.